Demonstration, I'm going to be showing you how to make a coil clay vessel. So we talked about our 3 hand building techniques in class. Of course, we used our pinch technique to make our whistles, slab is if you choose to do the phone speaker, and then of course we had coil that we used to roll out, and we made our mouthpiece, and we made different attachments for our clay. So you can use coils to make an entire container. People use coils because they're very versatile. You can use it to build any kind of shape you want. So this doesn't have to be a circle. If you want to try a heart, if you want to try a star, if you want to try an oval, a square, any kind of other shape, you can totally do that. I'm going to demonstrate a circle. So you're going to start with a kind of like an orange size of clay, and we're going to wedge that. So remember, to wedge, I'm using my hands, and I'm smacking the clay in my cupped hand. I make a couple of passes, and then I rotate the clay. Okay, once I have some wedging done, then I'm going to start to flatten this out into a slab. So we're going to start with a slab base. So we're going to take this clay and we're going to smack it down on the table. We're going to flip it over and smack it down on the opposite side. And for this part, you will need canvas. So either a canvas covered board under the front table or just a sheet of canvas that's under there. So I'm rotating. You can see it start to spread out. Then I'm going to grab battens from the closet. These are going to be used to roll out the bottom of our clay. You make sure that they're the same size. Put them on the opposite sides, and then get a rolling pin. Make sure your rolling pin is on top of the wood. So if it's in between the wood like this, it's not going to be doing, the battens aren't going to be helping. So we want to make sure this stays 1/4 inch, so our rolling pin stays on top like this. So we roll that out until we can see the clay is no longer moving. So you can see it's staying the same size. So that means I have it that really nice 1/4 inch thickness. Then I'm going to take any kind of circle. So I'm working on a circular base. So you can find a container. There's tons on the back counter. You could hand draw a circle. You could draw a different shape. But I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to flip it over and kind of press it into clay just a little bit so I have an outline of that circle. Then I'm going to take a butter knife. I'm going to cut that circle out. So, making a few mistakes, and that's okay. So once I take that off, I can pick up my slab and I can roll it on the edge. So if you happen to cut just a little sloppily, just roll it on the edge and it will kind of fix all of that up. See, nice and round again. So then I'm going to take a comb and I'm going to score the edges of my base. That's where I'm going to start to attach my coils. Okay. So I'm going to put that to the side for a second. And then I'm going to work on rolling some coils. So if I'm starting from my slab, I'm going to kind of pinch my slab into that chunky shape that we start with for a coil. I'm going to use, again, from the bottom of my palm to the tip of my fingers, and I'm going to roll that clay. Roll that clay. Roll that clay. And I want this to stay pretty even. So I'm looking for if something gets a little bit chunky. I'm going to roll that spot specifically. I don't want these to be really any thinner than my pointer finger. So that's just about a good size all the way across. I'm going to score this entire coil. So again, why these combs work so well. And then guess what? If I score, I must slip. So I'm going to put my slip across my coil. Of course, if I slip one side, I need to slip the other. So I'm going to add some slip over here. Then I'm going to take my coil and press it score side to score side. Oops, my coil came apart. No big deal. I'm just going to lay that coil on top of where it kind of overlaps, and I'm just going to cut through all the way to the base. So I'm going to cut through both of those chunks and take away the chunk I didn't need. Perfect. Okay, I can do that here too. Just cut all the way through, get rid of the chunks you don't need, and then you're just going to join that coil. So I'm just joining across here. All right, then I can go ahead and score on top. Boom, coil done. I'm going to take these little bits, hand wedge, get another chunk of my slab, roll another coil. Remember, bottom of palm to fingertips. No thinner than your pointer finger, so getting pretty close. I'm going to stop there. I want to score this whole baby. Then get some of my slip. Slip it up. Add a little bit to the other side. We don't want to really drip it on that other side, just a little bit. Then we want to do score side to score side again. Now here's a trick with coil. If I want this to get wider, I can put this on the outside edge. If I want it to stay tall, then I'm going to stack it directly on top. So if I want it to just go straight up, but if I want it to get thinner, then I'm going to kind of roll it in. So you can see if I want it to get thinner, I need less of my coil. If I want it to get wider, I need more of a coil, right? And if I want it to stay the same size, then I need to keep my coils about the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ends and overlap them. Then I'm going to cut through so I have a straight cut, straight sides. Join those edges. We've got a lot of slip going on, so we can just kind of join those together. And then I would continue rolling coils, and I continue stack. So you can see it's going to be ropes of clay on top of each other to make a container. So you have a choice. You can leave the coils exposed, or you can smooth them. So if you want this to be waterproof, so maybe you want like a dog dish, I don't know what you're going to make, then you would take a popsicle stick on the inside and kind of snag some clay from that top coil, and you're just going to kind of move that clay downwards. So my fingers are on the outside, kind of supporting. This can sit on the table, but it's just a little bit easier to show you the angle. Okay, so I would go all the way around. And I would move that clay down. Once I have the clay moved down, you see it needs some craftsmanship. So this is where I would take my thumb, windshield wiper, that lovely movement, windshield wiper across. This is going to just squeeze all of that extra clay that you moved up and down. That's going to squeeze that into your seams. So you can kind of see those seams are going to disappear, and that's going to be a waterproof container. If you just want to do the inside, you totally can. You don't have to smooth the outside. You could leave the coils exposed. Or if you think that maybe that isn't what you want, you can go ahead and use your finger, use a tool, and you're just going to do the same thing. Drag some clay and smooth the clay, windshield wipers. Okay. Once you're done, put a name on it, turn it in. Since I have a sub, hold on to it. I'll check it, make sure. So don't turn it in. Actually, ignore that part. But everything else, that's how you make a coil container. Okay.